Hello, and welcome to No Place Like Home. This program is sponsored by the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County in cooperation with Pinellas County Communications and the Department of Health and Community Services. I'm Catherine Driver alongside Jane Merlin, your hosts for today's show. Hi, Jane. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well and very happy to be joining you on WRXB 1590 AM and, of course, Pinellas County Connection TV. And hard to believe that we are right smack dab in the middle of the holiday season. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. It's here before we knew it.
Yeah. Well, and we've got a really fun show coming up today. We're going to talk about some ways to enjoy the holiday season that are good for the environment and also easy on the wallet, which is something I think we're all going to pay close attention to.
I definitely will be, and I'll be taking notes.
Yeah, this is a good time actually to grab a pen and paper if you haven't already done so. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to be joined by Ramona Madhosingh-Hector. She's with County Extension, and I'm going to introduce her in just a few moments. But before we get into today's topic, Catherine, I know you have an update from our sponsor.
Yes, thank you. The Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County is offering the first-time homebuyers program called Your Key to Home Ownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of home ownership a reality. The first-time homebuyers program is for individuals who have never owned a home, have not owned a home in the past 3 years, or are veterans. The HFA offers a low rate on its 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, and if you need a little help with down payment and closing costs, we can help you with that also with the Home Key Second Mortgage. Currently, the rate that's offered on our first-year mortgage is 3.99%, and the amount of down payment and closing cost assistance is $10,000. To get your key to homeownership, please call 727-223-6419 or visit our website at www.pinellascounty.org/HFA. To reach us for more information or for comments about the show, please call us at that same number, 727-223-6419, or email us at newhome@pinellashfa.com. You can also watch past shows on the website or catch us on YouTube. Jane?
Great information, Catherine. And you know, it's possible that somebody who's listening today might be able to get the process started if they've got all their paperwork together and credit in order, that they could possibly get a home for the holidays.
That's absolutely correct. So if you do visit our website, we have a list of participating lenders. We also have a list of homebuyer classes that you can also sign up for and take, which would help you with that process as well.
Very good. So let's get started on today's topic. We like to do this every year because I think it's important that we talk about some of the things that folks like to do during the holiday season, but we also want to take good care of the environment, and very important too, we want to take care of our financial stability. Right. And enjoy the holiday season without breaking the bank, so to speak. So we've got a real good show coming up and some great tips to share with you. Our guest is Ramona Madhosingh-Hector, and she's an extension agent with the University of Florida Extension Service in Pinellas County, and she specializes in urban sustainability. Ramona is joining us today to discuss some great ways to enjoy the holidays, again, without spending a lot of money and being kind to the environment. She was with us last year, provided us a lot of great information, and it is a pleasure to welcome her back to No Place Like Home. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jane and Catherine. I'm glad to be here this morning.
So good to see you again.
Good to see you both.
Now, we're going to talk about ways to enjoy the holiday and, sustainably without spending lots of money and all of that. But I think it's important, too, to talk a little bit first about county extension. What is extension? What do you all do? What's your role there? And what do we need to know about county extension?
Okay, well, this year we're especially glad because we're celebrating our 100th anniversary, and I brought you guys some trinkets there. It says 100 years of extension, providing solutions for your life. So extension has been around for 100 years. We're in every county in the state of Florida, so that's 67 counties where we have an extension office where residents can go in and get science-based information and education. So our specialty areas are lawn and garden, natural resources, marine environments, and food and nutrition. So like Jane said, I'm an urban sustainability agent. Most people are like, so what do you really do? So I really responsible for promoting education and awareness about sustainability, the environment, the economy, your finances, social connections, building that sense of community in neighborhoods and within communities overall. So I manage a Sustainable Floridian program. I do some energy conservation efficiency programs, and it's all about, resource conservation, making wise use of what we have so that we will continue to have those for future generations.
Very good, and such a wide range of programs that Extension offers. And I can tell you, I've taken some of the classes over at Extension, and they are wonderful. Great information, and I always learn something really valuable and useful when I go. So if you haven't been to one, and if you're thinking about going, I would really encourage you to do so. Even the money management classes, I've not taken those, but I've looked at a lot of the resources online. Very helpful program.
Those are really, really good. Really good. And one other thing I forgot to mention and probably should is that one of my roles here in the county as well is to provide information to county as well, county government. So I also help with the Green Local Government Certification Programs, employee trainings for, employees on sustainability. So we do some lunch and learns in the county. So those are things that we do in addition to the community classes.
Well, and we were talking earlier, too, about the fact that in October, there's a very special month-long program. Tell us a little bit about that so we can kind of put that on our radar for next year.
Okay, that's great. So October is usually recognized as Energy Action Month through the federal government. So this month I'm hosting a number of classes in the county to talk about energy conservation and providing all of the registered participants with an energy efficiency tote bag. So it comes in an insulated tote bag, and you get flashlights, a smart power strips, the power strips that have a little brain, as I like to say, because they can actually power down and cycle off other electronics that are connected. So classes started October the 4th, and we're continuing to do them at the libraries. We'll be in Palm Harbor at the end of the month. We'll be at the Littleman Family and Asian Center later in the month. So just a variety of classes throughout the county to make sure that we provide geographic coverage, if you would, so that residents throughout the county can take advantage of those classes. And it's really a way for people to become more sensitized about their energy behaviors and energy consumption, because saving energy not only saves money, but it also saves the environment because you're resource conservation.
And I might be getting ahead of ourselves here, but how do folks learn about what classes are available? And then also, is there a cost to participating in the classes, those types of things? Because I know that we may have piqued some interest out there, and I know people are going to want to know where they go to find that out.
That's a very good question, Catherine. So most or many of our classes at Extension are typically free. So all of the energy classes I'm offering during the month of October are actually free classes. You can actually go on our website, PinellasCountyExtension.org. If you just put it into your Google bar, Pinellas County Extension, it comes up. And you can follow along on the left-hand navigation bar for each section about what classes you're interested in looking for. So energy classes are hosted under the Sustainable Living website. So if you go on to Sustainable Living, you'll see classes and events, and it takes you to an Eventbrite link. Or you can also sign up for our blogs. So I just posted it on our blogs, which is the Thinking Green blog, and you have the entire listing of all the classes, the locations, the numbers to call, and the times for the classes.
I really like the blog. I have subscribed to that for quite some time now, and it's got such great information and nice short little articles and with links to more in-depth information if you so choose. And I really enjoy reading that when it comes out.
Yeah, guess what I'm doing when I get back to the office?
Yeah.
I'm signing up for the blog. That sounds so wonderful.
Great ideas. So let's kind of start moving into our topic of the day. And, a lot of people get real stressed out during the holiday seasons trying to find the right gift for somebody. So let's kind of start there. And I know you've got some great ideas on how maybe people can reduce their stress level when it comes to buying gifts for the holidays.
So one of the things I like to do first and foremost is think about where the gift exchange is. If it's within family, then you know the personality traits of the individuals. If it's within the office now, maybe it's not to the same level of familiarity. So I think considering that place and maybe also setting a price limit on that gift item. Are you willing to spend, what's your maximum for that item? And one of the things I like to recommend that people do for folks who you may not quite know very well or are thinking they have it all and you're not quite sure what they should get, maybe donating to a charity in their name, adopting a cause for them, maybe doing a marathon to support. A lot of people do those things for breast cancer awareness. They participate with their friends. So that could be your holiday gift. You could buy them a membership in a particular organization or an art museum. Because we're really into the urban agriculture and local marketing efforts here in the county, maybe a community garden, a CSA, community supported agriculture, where you can actually purchase that membership and you can share it with other folks in the family, because you do get a lot of produce from those places.
That's a really great idea. I hadn't thought of the community garden, but that would be a wonderful gift for somebody that you can appreciate and watch it grow and be involved with it. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, I like that idea.
One of the other things I like to do, and my dad has actually done this, is open savings accounts for children in your family to help them become responsible financial management. Just a simple savings account could be $20. That would have been something you might have spent on a gift for them that may not last, a lifetime, but it's one way to encourage, financial management. I think the other idea about non-traditional or gift ideas is to maybe choose a theme that you're going to have a gift exchange around, a theme or a culture, so it gives you an opportunity to, learn about something new.
Very good. What other ideas do you have for like homemade gifts or handmade gifts that, seem to be kind of popular right now with websites such as Etsy and Pinterest? I know a lot of folks are getting into those websites.
Okay, so today I actually brought, we'll have to describe it for our audience, Jane. I'll let you do that. But one of the things we can do with decorating and doing handmade gifts is you can easily buy a simple store-bought item, and then you can add some embroidery on it. You can personalize it with some simple touches. You can add their favorite ribbon colors to it. You can put the date of the actual gift idea that you're giving it to them for. And you can actually even collect a number of different things together and create a wonderful basket with ribbons. I've seen people do that. And I think it adds a personal touch to those gifts, that you put together, because it puts some thought and creativity. And it helps you to express your creative side as well. I think that's the good thing about the holidays and these ideas and craft ideas, is that you forget what it's like to actually put these things together. So you become, emboldened to try new things. So I think that's always exciting.
Well, and you brought something for us to take a look at that somebody in your group made, and it's really rather unique, but it's actually beautiful too. And it was made from paper towel holder, the cardboard from the paper towel. It was cut into about a 1-inch strip, and they've fashioned it into a beautiful poinsettia and they spray painted it red, put some glitter on it. I think it's a fun idea. This would be great, Catherine, too, for kids to get involved in. And I know that you mentioned that you're always, you're kind of addicted to Pinterest, I just learned.
Yes.
And looking for ideas to get kids involved in some creative opportunities to make decorations and gifts and things like that.
Yeah, we have a lot of young children in our family. We always have large family get-togethers, and I like to always try to find one or two craft ideas to get them together and working on things together, so they're not just sitting in front of the TV playing games or, doing things that maybe aren't as constructive. So I always try to find, some crafts that, they can maybe put outside for the animals to enjoy, whether it's like a pine cone covered in peanut butter with some bird seed, or making a little craft like this poinsettia, something, because I think all folks cherish something that's handmade, whether it's made by a friend or a relative or a child. They cherish that a lot more than store-bought items. So I do like trying to find craft ideas, and instead of throwing away your paper towel or your toilet paper insert, these are really cute ideas. And she also brought little matchsticks that have green tips on them that you stick in to look like the little green berries on this poinsettia. So it's just adorable. So I may have to steal this idea for this coming holiday season for my craft project for the kids.
Ramona, I think you've just lost your ornament there. One thing, you were mentioning the great idea on making the gifts and everything else. What about the actual gift wrapping of the items? Because that, talk about overwhelming when you go to a store and there's all this paper and bags. And what kind of tips can you give us on actually wrapping our gifts once we've selected them?
I have a habit of, I keep the bags. If I go to a store and they give you these wonderful bags, I keep them and I actually reuse those bags. I actually remove the ribbons and stuff from those bags because they make great ways for you to repackage something and really, you can add your markers on it, you could put fabric on it. So I like reusing store-bought bags. You can turn them inside out. A lot of folks also use the newspaper or the comic strips. That's a great way to wrap presents, especially for little ones who are just becoming of that age to read. Like my nephew, he reads, so it's like you're interesting. You can give them a gift that's wrapped in a comic strip, and I've become known as the aunt who is into the recycling big time. So they expect to get a gift that has been recycled, if you would. I think we want to let our listeners know as well that, before you go out and get new items to go wrapping your gifts in, start at home. It's amazing how many things you already have at home from previous seasons that you can use to wrap things in, as well as fabrics. You can get strips of fabric. You have scarves in your house. You haven't been using those. It's a great way to package your things, and ties that you may not have been using in a while can add some color to things, tie it up into a nice ribbon. So that's a great way to use things that are already at the house without having to go out and purchase new things.
Yeah, my mother-in-law has this tradition that I have also adopted as well, but my husband and his brother are both north of 50. Won't say how far north of 50 they are, but she has wrapped their Christmas gift in the same boxes since they were little kids, and they really look forward to getting those boxes every year. So then when I had my daughter, I did the same thing. So she gets her Christmas gift in the same box every year, and she looks forward to getting that same box. And then I have my Easter basket that I grew up with, which I passed down to my daughter, and same thing with my Christmas stocking. So even little things like that, it doesn't seem like it would be much, but I think something sentimental like that you can kind of recycle for many, many years and even generations can really go a long way. So, to kind of be thinking about things like that as well.
Great ideas and really good on the environment. And as you said, the sentimentality of that is just that you can't put money on that.
Yeah, I don't know what would happen if they got under the tree and their boxes weren't there. It would be...
One other thing to recommend too, when you're probably using paper or comic strips or even the store-bought bags that you're reusing, I made a note here to mention to use decorative or fancy scissors when you're cutting. So you can add a little pizzazz to your edges, if you would, so it's not just the straight lines, and you can cut it out and make some interesting decorations. So I think that's a way to spice it up a little bit.
Those are some great ideas, and again, something that helps save money, creates a lot of visual interest, and it makes it really unique for the people who are receiving it. I made a commitment, actually after we spoke last year, Ramona, that I no longer buy wrapping paper or any of that. I always kept the bags and reused those, so I was already doing that, but I've really taken a hard stand on not buying wrapping paper year after year because there is so much of it, and I often forget that I had it, and so every year I would be buying more, and I've just accumulated a massive amount, so I'm putting an end to it in my house.
Very good.
So one of the things that kind of makes me crazy, Ramona, is the amount of packaging that many products come in. Everything from food to just any other consumer products use a lot of plastic, or if it's in cardboard, there seems to be a lot of wasted space with that. Is there anything as consumers that we can do to try and reduce that? Short of maybe not buying those items, but if we contacted those companies that package or produce it, would that do any good?
I think that really would, and I think sometimes as consumers we forget how much power we have, because if you look at some of the markets that have actually changed, you see more green cleaning products on your shelves now than you saw in previous years, and it does show that there is a response by companies to maybe be a little bit more conscientious about what consumers are looking for. I certainly think, if you contact them and tell them, have you guys thought about repackaging this, using less material? I think, like you said, short of not buying it, which does send an immediate message to the company because it means that you're not purchasing, which affects their profit margins. Most certainly that is one way of doing it. But I think demonstrating where you'd like to spend your money as well. If you're spending your money in the local markets or the farmers market, it means you're not spending it in other places. So that definitely does send a message there. I think also buying things, regular items, like you said, food, typically tends to be like that. But, buy the things that you regularly use in very large quantities, so you don't have to keep rebuying them. So that's one way of avoiding the packaging altogether. I know we're talking about holidays, but definitely go out and look at those unique items, those handmade items that you could find at a boutique store. Somebody who's local in the area. The farmers markets have great ideas, and gifts don't have to be the tangible item of a market quality. It could be something like a food item, something that's local, that's a jam or a jelly or something that folks are willing to try, that's not just the typical store-bought or electronic item or
even homemade items, cookies and breads and
cheeses. People are always interested in trying new cheeses or different breads from different places, so it's always an interesting way to add a little bit of culture or the non-traditional at your holiday table as well.
Great. Well, for those of us who are using Christmas trees, what advice do you have for that, for folks who are looking at using live Christmas trees?
So one of the things we definitely want to let you know about at Extension, and I know the solid waste folks would be interested to make sure you know of, is if you're going to be using a live tree, is to be sure at the end of the season that you recycle that tree, check the dates for where they're picking up or dropping off if you bought a live Christmas tree. And I made sure this morning, because I'm not a landscape person, that I went in and I spoke to our diagnostic desk expert, Andy Wilson. If you've ever been out to Extension, Andy's the guy. He can answer all your questions for you. Because we want people to think about natives, and we want you to think about live trees as well. So if you're thinking of doing that, and then you want to use it for the rest of the year in the outdoors, get something like the red cedar or the sand pine that you can actually start with this Christmas, and then you can plant it outdoors and you can have it for future Christmases. So it's not like you're doing something that's just a one-time thing. And you can continue to do that. And of course, when you recycle your live Christmas trees, if you didn't buy something that you're going to replant for next year, it goes into mulch. Yes. So that's a great way to turn something that you've used only for a short period of time into something that has a lasting impact on the environment that can be used, in your gardens.
And we should also mention, too, when you reminded me about the mulch, the county provides mulch to residents at no cost. So, you can't get a better deal than that.
Right.
Native nurseries are a great place if you're not quite sure or you don't have time to come out to the Extension office, is to make sure you check with a native nursery about what they have in stock if you're going to get a Christmas tree or you're going to look for something that you want to add to your landscape over the holidays, is to make sure you get something that's native.
Great. Well, speaking of Christmas trees, another form of decorating that I know a lot of folks take pride in is the holiday lighting, whether it's on their trees or on their houses or in their yards or a combination of all of the above. What are some tips that folks can do, that will help with the sustainability?
Okay. So holiday lighting, we know, adds another expense, right? Because you think about your gift-giving ideas, you're thinking about your holiday meals, but the fact that you're putting lights on a tree, whether it's indoor or outdoors, you're adding lights to your homes on the exteriors, I think we want to recommend to folks that they start thinking of using the LED holiday light strands. So LED stands for light-emitting diodes. Those are the highest tier of lighting efficiency you have right now. So our tiers, we had incandescents. We've moved to CFLs, which are compact fluorescent lamps, and now we're into LEDs. For holiday lighting, it's really come down in prices. They're so much more energy efficient than the old Christmas strands you had before, or old light strands you had before. They're also made of a very durable plastic. So, some older bulbs, if you have young children, they put their hands on it. Sometimes it's a little bit warm. They break. So they're so much more safer. They're much more energy efficient, almost 90% more energy efficient than previous strands. And there are a couple places out there that will allow you. I actually found a company online that if you send in your Christmas or old holiday light strands to them, they'll give you a coupon towards purchasing an LED light strand. But of course, it's on this particular website. But it doesn't mean that you couldn't check your local big box stores for LED light strands. So that's an option. And it will save you over the course of the holiday season if you're thinking of the Thanksgiving all the way. That's a whole month of having holiday lights on in your house. So you definitely want to be using LEDs.
And quite often, companies will put a lot of the Christmas decorations and other holiday decorations on sale immediately after that particular holiday. So whether it's Halloween or Thanksgiving, you can usually find some really good deals, and that's also a good opportunity to maybe stock up on some of those items for the follow-up for the future years.
That's definitely true, Jane. And I think one of the things that people have been skeptical about is that, will they get the colors that they want? Lots of people are into their colors. It's a scheme. This year I'm going to be blue and next year I'll be green. So you definitely have that flexibility with LEDs because you can get them in different colors. You can get them in different shapes. There are lots of companies out there that are doing garlands that come pre-lit, and most of the times those garlands that are pre-lit, to save you the stresses of having to run the cords, is that they're using LED lights because it's so much more durable and long-lasting.
I think another thing that we should remind people that may have forgotten about it, that a lot of our local thrift stores and other secondhand stores sell decorations during each holiday. And so that's also a good opportunity to buy something at perhaps a reduced price while also contributing to the work that organization is doing.
That's also a great idea. And I think to second what you brought up earlier as well is if you plan ahead for next year, you always get those great sales after the holidays. So if you plan ahead, you'll be able to take advantage of sales and save even more.
Except for me on Black Friday. I refuse to go out on Black Friday.
Me too.
I'm the one that's not at the mall on that day. I want to talk for a moment about, a lot of us have company during the holidays, and you're looking for things to do with company and want to entertain them. And I know that you've got some ideas on how we can do that in a very meaningful way.
So Catherine mentioned earlier about family activities, and that's something that I think is a great way for you to spend time together, either doing a craft or planning the meal. But one thing we should probably also consider is that as a family, you can probably volunteer together over the holidays, going out to a homeless shelter or working with a local organization that you support. That's one thing you can do to the holidays or to add to the holiday celebration that brings a little bit more family holiday spirit. So it's something you can do 5 days before, it's something you can plan to do early in the new year. I think that's a great way to spend the holidays together with your family and set a new family tradition about doing something for service to your community or for your community.
That's a great idea. And we should also remind people, too, that the Holiday Lights is going on over at Botanical Gardens. Tell us a little bit about that event.
So the Holiday Light Show typically starts just after Thanksgiving holiday, and they go through, if I remember correctly, all the way through New Year's. But what's really great about that, Jane, and thank you for bringing that up, is they've actually been using all LEDs. So when you come into the gardens, and for the last couple of years, they've actually been transitioning their Christmas lights out into LEDs. So come into the gardens for sure. Of course, I think they do want a small donation when you come to the gardens.
And they often have exhibitors there. They have items for purchase if you're interested in maybe getting some unique holiday gift items there, as well as hot chocolate or coffee or whatever your beverage of choice would be. So, and a lot of entertainment as well. One more time, Ramona, if you would, give us the website for Extension.
Okay. It's www.Pinellas County Extension, all one word, .org. That's the easiest one.
Well, thank you so much for providing all the great holiday tips. I know I always learn something each time Ramona comes over, and I hope that everybody tuning in has a wonderful holiday season. Be safe, and remember, you don't have to break the bank to enjoy the holidays, and also remember to be kind to the environment as well.
Yes. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. Our guest today was Ramona Madhosingh-Hector. She's an extension agent with University of Florida Extension Service in Pinellas County. And we want to give a shout out to our friends at Pinellas County Communications Department and WRXB 1590 AM. If you'd like more information or want to provide feedback, and we do enjoy hearing from you, please give us a call at 727-223-6419 or email newhome@pinellashfa.com. I'm Jane Merlin.
And I'm Catherine Driver.
Thanks for tuning in to No Place Like Home. Make it a great day.